Hi, everybody. My name is Chanie. For those of you who don't know me, I am Rabbi Mendy and Rebbetzin Esther Malka's daughter. And I'm going to talk a little bit about Are You OK Day, which is coming up this week. Thursday, September 10th, is Are You OK Day, which is a day that's been going on for a couple of years. And it is a day that we're reminded to check in on the people around us who might be struggling with life's ups and downs. This is a topic that's really close to my heart because I have battled with anxiety since I was a teenager, and I know how valuable and very, very necessary a strong support system is for someone experiencing mental health issues, but also because I have watched a very close friend of mine struggle with multiple episodes of depression and particularly suicidal ideation, and was in a position to be able to support her through this experience. And a lot of what I'm saying might seem really obvious, and most of you probably know it, but it's always good to hear it and have a bit of a refresher. So the question, are you okay, is obviously a very important one because it can make someone struggling with mental illness feel less alone. It shows that you care. It can be the catalyst for someone to take the first step in getting help. And it's also a very real way that you can alleviate some of the feeling of loneliness that is a trademark of mental illness, and show someone that there are people out there that care enough to listen. Asking, are you okay, is a very important first step, but it can't stop there. There is so much more that you can do. And through my own experience of supporting someone through episodes of depression and suicidal ideation, I learned a lot about what it means to truly be there for someone beyond asking them, are you okay? This is a multifaceted topic which could be talked about for hours, and everyone has a very different experience, but I just wanted to share some of the insight that I gained. Asking someone, are you okay, starts with asking them, are you okay? Which can be done in many different forms, like you don't see yourself lately, do you want to talk about it? You've been on my mind, just checking in to see how you're doing. How are you coping with lockdown? Nothing too complicated. Keep it open-ended and provide the person with an invitation to speak. And the next step, now that you've done the are you okay part, is to listen, and to listen without judgment. It might seem very obvious, but people struggling with mental illness, I can say this for myself and for other people that I've spoken to, there is often a very real fear of sounding stupid or dramatic when sharing what you're thinking and feeling, or for someone to respond, look how many amazing things you have in your life. So many people have it way worse, or cheer up. These kind of responses are extremely isolating and will likely make a person shut down even more or hide their true thoughts from you and never share with you again. So listen and validate what the person is telling you. You could reassure them by saying things like, I know it doesn't feel this way now, but it will get better, which is very hard to see when you're in it, in an episode of depression or anxiety. So hearing it from an outsider can be very grounding and very helpful. And you can encourage them to seek help. You could offer to help them find a mental health professional if you feel equipped to do so, or to come with them to an appointment, or suggest that they see a GP, which is always a very important starting point. If you're concerned that the person you're checking in on is suicidal, ask them, are you suicidal? Talking to someone who is possibly suicidal and asking them, are you suicidal, is super scary. Full stop. There's no way around it. But so is doing CPR or driving someone who's having a stroke to the hospital. These are very, very scary things to do, but for someone that we love and care about, we would do them. And it's the same thing when asking someone, are you suicidal? Also, there's actually no danger in asking someone straight up, are you suicidal, or have you had any thoughts of harming yourself or killing yourself? And if they say yes, asking them, have you made a plan to carry this out? What is that plan? Petrifying questions. I've had to ask them, and they never get less scary. They are so scary, and you're always scared to hear what the answer is going to be, but it's still extremely important. People often think that asking these very direct questions will put ideas of suicide into a person's head, but it's actually been shown that asking these questions can reduce the chances of the person harming themselves, and it often provides them a relief to say these very scary things out loud. Making sure that the person is physically safe If they do say that they are suicidal, making sure they're not left alone. I've called family members of my friend who were living with her to make sure that they knew that she was suicidal, even though she didn't want them to know. It was very important that they knew that she couldn't be left alone and that she couldn't have access to any knives or medications that was in the house. And asking the person these very direct questions can also help you ascertain how urgent it is. You might need to call an ambulance if you think the person is in immediate danger. And another really helpful resource is calling a suicide hotline. This is not just for people who are suicidal, but if you are not sure what steps to take for someone that you suspect is suicidal or for someone who's told you they're suicidal, a suicide hotline can guide you step by step through what to do next. And that's a really helpful resource as well. The next step after that, which I think is the most important step, is following up, which basically means that you haven't just asked the person, are you okay, and then just moved on with your life. You're sticking with them. You don't have to fix their problems. Don't try to fix their problems unless you're a mental health professional. It's not your job to fix their problems or find solutions. But saying something, and I found this on the receiving end of this, and being the one to say these kind of responses has been very, very helpful. Saying something like, this really sucks. This just sucks. There's no way around it. It sucks. What you're going through sucks. And I hate that you have to go through this. I hate seeing you in this position. Those kind of responses, instead of saying, oh, why don't you try this? Why don't you try that? I had a friend who did this. I had a friend who did that. I know someone who went through this, which also can be helpful if you're giving someone actual resources. But trying always to fix their problems is not always as helpful, and just acknowledging what they're telling you can be very validating and helpful and make someone feel very heard and supported. I also reached out to my friend to ask her, from her perspective, being on the receiving end of all of this, what the importance of asking, are you okay, is. And I'm just going to read what she told me because this is her story. She said, asking someone, are you okay, is very validating. When you're in a depressive state, it can be hard to see how bad things really are. You won't even know to ask for help. Oftentimes, other people notice the changes in you more than you notice yourself. Them reaching out can make you aware that you need help. Looking back at this time, I was craving for other people to tell me I was going to be okay, even though I didn't believe it at the time. When you would constantly check in with me, it showed me that my emotions were real. And even though I had never experienced them before, there was real help out there and I wasn't alone. It was very validating and made me feel a little more sane. It can be scary to reach out because people don't know what to say, but in reality, there's actually nothing you need to say. Just checking in with someone makes a huge difference. As long as you're coming with a warm and understanding approach, it's unlikely that there is something that you will say that will make the person feel worse than they already feel. Asking someone, are you okay, is fantastic, but it is equally important to follow up with them and stick with them. You don't need to be the psychologist or fix their problems, but following up and continuously showing your support helps them develop trust and the ability to get back on their feet long term. It is important, though, that if you're going to ask someone, are you okay, you should make sure you really mean it. Saying empty things like, are you okay, and then never asking again, or saying, I'm always here for you, without actually meaning it or showing it in any way, can be really damaging to a person's trust especially when they are already very vulnerable and often feel like a burden to others. These are words directly from my friend. So in conclusion, for myself, what I have learned and what I've seen firsthand is that something as simple as asking, are you okay, can literally save a person's life. And what better thing in the world is there than saving someone's life?
What do you do if you ask someone, are you okay, and they say no? Any ideas? Anything? There's more to say after Are You Okay? Learn how to keep the conversation going at areyouok.org.au.